This is the #1 theme park in Italy, and today we're gonna do a full tour. Welcome to GARDALAND.
Welcome to GARDALAND. This is the oldest and biggest theme park in Italy. So to start this channel, I wanted to start from this park specifically and tell you a little bit about the history and explore all the beautiful scenery and attraction of this theme park situated in the north of Italy, not too far from Milan, like a couple of hours, on Lake Garda, which is a beautiful lake, the biggest lake in Italy, so already a big touristy attraction. And in 1975, so almost 50 years ago, 49 to be exact this year, GARDALAND was born, with this beautiful castle right behind me, which was the original entrance of the park, the Gardaland Express, original day opening attraction, and the floral clock, right down here. Let's go down there and I'll show you the rest. Oh, today I'm not here alone, I'm here with my girlfriend Kelsey. Hi! Oh, and if you hear weird songs around the park, it's because this is the Oktoberfest celebration of the park during September. And so the whole park is themed based on Oktoberfest, the famous German celebration stuff. And this was the original entrance, which now changed, and now this is the original entrance. And every day at opening time, there's like a little show, which you should see because it's a beautiful opening show for the park. It celebrates the opening every single day. So you should definitely come early in time. Usually it opens at 10 a.m., but it can vary, so you just check the website for that. And this is the special one for Oktoberfest. Now, right here, there's the opening day of GARDALAND, 19 July 1975, which is when all of this was born. Actually, only this part of the park was here at opening, and not all the structures you see right now. Well, most of it was then built like afterwards, but it was the first actual theme park here in Italy. Before this, there was literally nothing else. Anyway, on my right, we find the Gardaland Express, which is a panoramic tour of the park on this like beautiful train that crosses parts of the park. And actually, the original perimeter of the original park is what this train does. They never extended it, even though it would be really cool to like extend it and make it bigger, but they never did that, so that's what we have. But even just like this, it's really beautiful, and it's one of the few original opening day attractions still at the park. Here we have some Oktoberfest celebration stuff, and then there's a beautiful carousel. You can see it there in the background. Oh, by the way, this is a map. This here was the original park with the western area, which we're gonna see, and then the original like main area here, but then expanded quite a lot. But as you can see, with a weird shape, like they never had a specific expansion plan like at Disneyland. It was like, this is the start, and then it just grew slowly with the time, organically. It's owned by Merlin, the same company that owns Alton Towers and a lot of UK resorts, Legoland, which actually Merlin is owned by Legoland now. Either way, it's a gorgeous park, and it's the best park that Merlin has. The one that makes more money too, apparently. And it's because this park was built from the ground up a lot of years without Merlin, of course, from Italian companies, and they took a really good care of this park. Like, for example, this big restaurant that it's here, Merlin's Tube, it used to be a ride. It was supposed to be a pre-show for an attraction, a dark ride that was never built, and only the pre-show remained, and then it was turned into a show, which now I'll show you how gorgeous it is inside. And there's a lot of this beautiful stuff that was developed until 2006 when Merlin arrived. And Merlin developed this park in a different way, but we'll talk about that later. Moving on to this area, which is a medieval still area based on Leonardo da Vinci and all his inventions, and a castle, which is a water playground in the summer. Right now it's off and it's just a playground, which then leads to a beautiful area of the park. Oh, the train is coming. Which leads to Atlantide, which is this beautiful, gorgeous water coaster. Fuga da Atlantide, or Escape from Atlantis. It's a water coaster built in 2003 by Claudio Mazzoli. Claudio Mazzoli is the Imagineering of GARDALAND, and actually he worked at Imagineering for Disney, and he worked at Universal in the years, and then he came here and did a lot of beautiful attraction in this park, including Atlantis here, which is a gorgeous water ride with 2 drops and beautiful scenery with Poseidon resting. There used to be a water dragon monster animatronic, but it was removed right away because it had a lot of technical issues, and so they really couldn't get it to work properly, so they decided to remove it. But everything else here, it's so beautiful, and they took like real rocks, they sculpted them to make actually what you see in here. There's like a huge job behind all these, and it was a very expensive project for Gardaland at the time, but pushed the park so hard and made it even better than what it was already, which was already a gorgeous park, but this pushed it even further. You do get wet, mostly because of cannons of people like shooting you on the side. The attraction itself is not too wet. There should be a foggy effect down there. In this area, it's often turned off. Gardaland has big problems with fog effects. They can never get it to work properly. I don't really understand why. That's the thing about this park. And as you can see, the scenery is beautiful. It's not all the time super well maintained, but every few years they do like a full refurbishment of the park. They take care of everything, and next year is the 50th anniversary of GARDALAND, and so it should get a full overall and a lot of new attraction and rides and stuff. So I'm very excited for next year, honestly. We'll see what's gonna happen. Now let's keep walking, and as you can see down there, there's like a beautiful volcano. We'll get there. Oh, and the soundtrack, it's so beautiful. Gardaland has some amazing original soundtracks. Come on, look at this archway entrance for Atlantide. Come on. Spam the comments with Mazzoli #1. What you see here, it's called Blue Tornado. Blue Tornado is a SLC, suspended looping coaster by Vekoma. It's a very, very classic model that you see in so many theme parks. However, this one has a bonus helix at the end, which is this one you see right behind me. It's pretty intense. They did some not retracking, but they fixed a little bit the wheels last year. It's supposed to be a little bit smoother, even though this kind of coaster, if you ever tried it, you know it's pretty rough overall. However, it is a tiny bit better, but it's still like a kind of a rough experience, I have to say. Down here you see a little preview for the western area and two beautiful coasters, B&M, which we're gonna see later. But for now, we're gonna keep moving this way so that I can show you the next cool attraction of this area, which is basically a river rapid ride. It can be pretty wet depending on how heavy is the vehicle you're on. And there's a lot of beautiful theming, a smoking volcano, which is now not smoking. Because, as I said before, Gardaland in the beginning of the season fixed a lot of the smoking effects that were not working in the past few years, but it lasted not a long time. Now, they don't work anymore anywhere, which is a shame. Gardaland, you should do better. And I always tell them in person when I meet them around the park, but yeah. And I do say this because this is my home park. I've been here my whole life. I saw it growing and everything. And I have another YouTube channel in Italian about theme parks, a normal channel. This is not my first YouTube channel. That's why I said that I tell them, because I know them, because of my other YouTube channel. And look at the theming even here. Like, come on. It's beautiful, even though it's a little bit falling apart. Oh, I'm hoping that next year, the 50th anniversary, they will take care of it a little bit better and like refurbish everything. And this is also Blue Tornado, which has a jet, because the theme of Blue Tornado, forgot to tell you, is like you're on this fighter jet. And so the concept is basically that you're flying on a fighter jet and you experience the G-force that this attraction can give. It's a cool theming, and it's a freaking huge plane on top of that. Like, Gardaland does theming really well. Could be better, it lost a lot. Basically, ever since Marilyn arrived, they shrank budget because it's a bigger company and they have like different interests, and it's not only like just one company like focusing on Gardaland. So I understand it's harder, but at the same time, Gardaland is the biggest park of Merlin, the one that brings the most money, the most people, and so I feel like, I don't know, could be better. But also, to be fair, the management just changed a few years back, and they're doing an amazing job here. They're really good. The new CEO, Sabrina, she's amazing. She's doing a really good job on like cleaning up Gardaland, going back also to like the original project of some of the theming, which was changed in a weird way. And then she came back and like fixed a lot of things that were not perfect, which I'll tell you a little bit about later. However, yeah, 1999 is right, and to this day it's still beautiful. By the way, I know this looks like the entrance of Jungle Rapids. It's not. This is the entrance. It's a little bit more hidden, but yeah. And they do shows sometimes in this area. Haha, you can see the flying island down there, where you can see a view of the park from up there. And here is the Mammoth and Blue Tornado Plaza. Full of people. It's really full the park today because of the Oktoberfest. Of course, if you can come throughout the week, it's way better, trust me. Saturday and Sunday are usually really busy. And here we have Mammoth, which is an amazing mine train, and it's the longest in Europe with 3 lifts. And the ride articulates throughout this glacier, where you're on an expedition and you're finding this mammoth that was frozen in ice and just woke up, and you have to escape this. This is basically the storyline. It's a little bit fainted, like the snow is not really there anymore. You cannot tell that it used to be white, but it's beautiful. It's really long. It's a really great experience, especially a beautiful family experience. It was supposed to be even more themed. This was the last Claudio Mazzoli project in here. Then he left because of differences in vision on how to like theme these, and Merlin just arrived at the time. They were like, no, we would like to do something a little bit smaller. And so at the end he decided to leave and go take care of other projects. But we still have an amazing attraction back here that you cannot miss if you come to Gardaland.
It reminds me of Everest in Animal Kingdom in Orlando, but this is so much longer. I gotta say, Disney of course is more well themed, but this is like, you're on there for 3 minutes. So it's kind of worth the wait.
Kelsey is right. It's really long, and overall it's a great ride. Nothing to say. Oblivion, which is about to dive. It's a dive coaster. Actually, it's called Oblivion the Black Hole, which is based after the Alton Towers ride Oblivion. This one is taller and longer. It's a 2.0 version, and near it there's Raptor, which is another beautiful B&M, in that case, wing coaster. Oblivion is in the space-themed area of the park, and behind me there's the Flying Island, which is this just observation tower. And then we also have a drop tower, Space Vertigo, which is really intense. It's 40 meters, it's not too tall, but like it's pretty intense. Well, Oblivion is 42 meters dive. Space Vertigo opened in the same year as Blue Tornado, 1999. Was a great year. It's a drop tower, very simple. The pre-show is beautiful because it's themed as this like alien invasion coming to Earth, and you have to go up and save it. It's a beautiful pre-show. It's a beautiful theming inside. They just refurbished it a few years ago, and it's pretty good. The ride itself is pretty straightforward. It goes up and down. Simple, fast, intense. Ora mi sto spostando a farvi vedere. I've got the wrong language. Now I'm going to show you one of the original areas of the park, the western themed area, which is right down here after the space area. Here we have a guy that's not doing so well. Hey bro, how's it going? Oh, I think he's sleeping. Yep. I mean, they used to tell me that if you don't behave, that's what happens to you in Gardaland.
Really?
So be careful. Just behave, alright? This is Raptor, my favorite coaster here in Gardaland. It's a wing coaster, and it's so beautiful, very smooth, a good drop. It has some really good near miss around the area, good theming overall. And the story is like, there's this beast that just woke up under Gardaland. Now it's threatening this area of the park, and will like, while you're walking, take you and bring you for a spin and like high in the sky. And it's not a very clear story, but it's based on something like that, basically. And this is the western area. So, a little bit of history. This right here, Il Bosco degli Gnomi. Actually, this is a walkthrough for kids right now. Nothing great. But this used to be a mine train, or a mine-themed dark ride, where you would be on this like mine train and go around this themed area on the old Wild West with like rocks falling on you, water effects. It was really short, but really beautiful and simple. And it was one of my favorite rides in the park. Unfortunately, it was closed and then changed. With at first, like just you would like scout gold into this like mine area. Wasn't that exciting? Then they made this like enchanted forest, which then turned into this wood of gnomes. But yeah, it used to be beautiful, and there's really nothing in this area besides shops and like this one, unfortunately. But yeah, nothing like big. Oh well, Raptor goes through this area, but the station is not here. There used to be like also a show where the bandits would take over the train, the Trans-Gardaland Express, while it was moving, and it was beautiful. But that was like 40 years ago. Oh, and they have spaghetti western, which is like a Samontana ice cream. It's basically a soft serve, and it's really creamy, so good. You can choose your toppings, and there's like so much choice. Use the pistachio because it's amazing. And of course, this all western area, it's called Rio Bravo. Really love the theming. And here we get to the Mexican area with the Hacienda Miguel, where you can eat really good burritos and good food in general. And at night, it becomes really gorgeous with all of these colorful lights. Trust me, it's beautiful. And there's a little like show area with a stage there where they do music and slushy. Raptor is here, but we're first going to see the Fantasy Kingdom, which is another amazing area from Claudio Mazzoli. Again, you're gonna hear it a lot in this video, but I just want to also tell you like where all this is born from, who's the mind behind it, because it's a big deal for, you know, this Italian theme park, the number one. And it's number one because of him and his history. He learned everything at Disney, and then he brought his expertise here and made a beautiful park. This is the kids area, Fantasy Kingdom, with this plane ride, which is very simple. It's just like a monorail that goes around the Fantasy Kingdom area. Then there's a madhouse underneath the Prezzemolo tree here, and also Prezzemolo is the mascot of the park, which is this little dragon. They used to do a TV show in Italy about Prezzemolo, only one season though. It was amazing, I used to love it as a kid. And you can go also up to the tree, all the way up, and see the panoramic view. The madhouse right now used to have like a pre-show with the elevator, kind of like the Haunted Mansion, which was amazing. Since the pandemic, it was closed and they never reopened it. I think they have to refurbish it still. And maybe next year, I'm hoping everything will be like fixed next year. I don't know if it will actually happen, but subscribe so you'll see it here on the channel. I'll keep you posted. And I'll do many different videos, not only from Gardaland, of course. I'm gonna go all around the world. China is coming, so all the Disney parks there, and then much more to come. So just subscribe so you won't miss it. That said, madhouse underneath and panoramic view up there on the tree, which is beautiful. It's giant, and this old Fantasy Kingdom area looks a lot like another park if you have ever been to Portaventura. That's because this area was born in the 2000, and I would say almost 10 years later, around 2008, 9, 10, Portaventura opened this area because Claudio Mazzoli, after he finished working with Gardaland, moved to Portaventura and worked with them on a few projects, and with their Sisamo Adventura, which is basically a smaller, tinier area, exactly like this one, with a lot of elements like this one, kind of like the tree, even though this is way bigger, and a lot of the scenery around. These are a few of the mascot. Prezzemolo, as I said, is the main one. Now he's dressed like a knight or something, or like a, I don't know, but usually he doesn't have this one. He's amazing. Volaplano is not the only attraction, which is the plane ride, because we have also the Doremi Farm, which is this themed farm with the animals, and you're on this tractor going around the factory, and it's with a lot of animatronics, and it's really beautiful. Really big area, really big investment. Again, for those here, Gardaland was like pushing really hard. And if I'm not mistaken, in 2006, Gardaland was the 6th best theme park in the world. Pretty sure it's something like that, based on some awards of that year. The best theme park of the year. Actually, let me show the inside of this tree, because it's amazing. You wouldn't expect that. So tell me if it's not beautiful. And you go up, and this is the house of Prezzemolo, the mascot of the park, with all the picture in his house. And then the story goes that underneath there's a magician that took control of his house, and well, there's a whole story underneath for the madhouse, which now is deactivated, but cool, right?
This is my favorite part of the park.
You wouldn't expect this, right? You were like, oh, let's not go upstairs. But there's always something more. Mazzoli's like this, and this is the beautiful thing. Like details and like cool things. This is very Disney style. You can tell he worked there. There's Prezzemolo having a shower. And then you go all the way up there, where there was a photo op at some point. I don't know what there is right now. I think it's just the view of the park from up on top of the tree. Also, these orange balls were a different material in the past. And they were a little bit better than these. Now it's just literally like, I think some kind of plastic, which gets destroyed really easily. And so they have to refurbish it. You can already tell like the top versus the bottom. Every year they should refurbish it, they don't. They do it just every few years, which is not the greatest. It gets bad fast, basically. Right before we explore Raptor, there's a Legoland water park here, which is a extra ticket. It just costs like $5 extra. Not a crazy amount, but there's like also the mini land and then the water park in here. It's pretty cool. I mean, if you have time, it's a good thing to do. Not necessary, definitely. Anyway, Raptor. My favorite coaster in the park. 2011. To make space for Raptor, they removed a jungle cruise kind of ride, which was called Tunga. And it was amazing, it was in this area. It was exactly like a jungle cruise without the skipper though. It's just like kind of like a dark ride, but like on the outside with the jungle. And it was really gorgeous. However, they replaced it with a beautiful roller coaster, so I'm not too sad about it. Even though, yeah, I am a little bit, but you know, it's still a great addition to the park. Beautiful B&M wing coaster that interacts perfectly with the theming. And it was the first B&M wing coaster in the world. After Raptor, we can keep going through this green area. Gardaland used to have a lot of beautiful green areas, which are now disappeared. It means they're using the space, but at the same time, some greenery in the summer especially. It's really good, like it keeps you really fresh. And here we have, this is the Gardaland Theater. They now have Impossible, which is a magic show. I've never seen it to this day, but in general, shows are not the strong suit of Gardaland. They have amazing performers, they're really good. Like they have great acrobats, they have great musicians, great singers, great. However, this is my personal preference. I love stories. Something that is like deep and tells you a story and it's an adventure. And they don't have anything like that. They mostly have singing and performing and dancing shows, which are perfectly fine. It's just my personal preference. It's not my favorite thing. Oh, and the other side of this theater, it's also amazing. And it's basically a 4D cinema where the seats move, you get wet and there's air. It's pretty good. It used to be amazing. It used to be called Time Voyagers, and they used to have an amazing show, custom made for the park, but then it was unfortunately removed. They had a lot of problems. They covered all these faces for a long time until they finally restored them like a few years back, which is a great thing. But the shows in here are pretty underwhelming, or they have been pretty underwhelming. There's nothing like new or like unique. Going back on the top from the theater, we keep going this way and we get to this area with this old restaurant, which used to be a simulator ride with a beautiful, kind of like a 3D cinema based on dinosaurs. It was one of my favorite things, especially this T-Rex right here, which was something crazy. Now it's just a relaxed area. I'm a big fan of Jurassic Park, and as a kid, this was my favorite thing here. I was so into this ride, even though it was just a simulator, nothing crazy, with not even original shows. And like they used to show like videos that you can find online now, this kind of stuff. But I was so excited. After the 4D cinema, the Island of Dinosaur, it became the T-Rextaurant, and then now it's the T-Relax area. To be honest, I think it's a little stretched as a name. But you let me know what you think in the comments. And right in front, the Locanda Corsaro Nero. If you want a great pizza, here you can find it. Not only here, but this is a beautiful restaurant. And it's also very beautiful inside. It's very well themed. These are all lights for the night. And it's just beautiful. Food-wise, there's a real big attention in like having quality food, as like we're in Italy, so like food is a priority. They take care of it. There's good like seasonal food for like Halloween. They have beautiful food and like different times of the year. But the overall quality, it's really good. Anywhere you go in the park, you will eat well. Trust me. Now, right here, we find Jumanji the Labyrinth. I'll tell you all about these in just a second. First, I want to show you what used to be one of the best dark rides in Europe. not only in my opinion, which just last month closed forever. Welcome to Corsari. You used to be able to go into this ride. It's a beautiful water dark ride, kind of like Pirates of the Caribbean. This ride opened in 1993, exactly the same year where Disneyland opened, Disneyland Paris. And that's because the management was worried that with Disneyland they would lose a lot of people coming to this park. And so they decided to do something huge, which cost something around 30 million euros at the time. It was like a huge investment for the park, but it paid off because it was a beautiful dark ride. Honestly, even better than the Disneyland classics. It was really full, really long, different scenes, very, very beautiful. Made from an American company, then Mazzoli like refurbished it and fixed it in the years coming. But it's now closed and they're gonna do some kind of like new ride. Probably the theming will be Animal Treasure Island, which is a new IP from Merlin Entertainment, an original IP, which is cool that it's original. At the same time, we don't know what to expect. It was really beautiful. And you know, when they remove something so big, it happened before in Gardaland, and then they made things that are not amazing. And so this is the last big dark ride we had, like really high quality one, even though the last few years it wasn't in its greatest shape. However, you know, it's always hard. Instead of making a new building and new dark ride, they decided to use this old because they have the space already, so that's fine. But I don't know, we'll see when it opens. I'll be here, I'll make a video and we'll talk about it then. For now, I can just tell you that it's closed, and I just wanted to show you a little bit of this ride and how it was. My heart, this was my favorite, my absolute favorite since I was a kid. This is another one that I'll show you right now, but this one especially. But you know, you gotta move on in life sometimes. Hopefully it will be good. And yeah, there was a whole story. Jason Montag was the protagonist. I mean the pirate bad guy that was following you throughout the whole ride in the story. Big story, I'm not gonna tell you right now. If you want a video, let me know, I will make it. I know a lot about this park because it's been here since I was a kid. Anyway, let's move on. So, Jumanji the Labyrinth is one of the newest additions in here. This used to be the Arabian Souk. That's one of the original towers. That was the color. Now they made it this sandy color all over, which is cool. It looks good. Even though the ride itself, there's not a ride, it's just a walkthrough inside. It's really underwhelming. There's not much happening. You just get in and walk through this like little maze, which is not even a maze, just like this tall. And there's only basically one way. You cannot really get lost in it. Overall, it's really nothing great. It's good that they use this area for something. It used to be pretty unused in the last few years, even though they did like a few cool shows. But so that's cool. However, and it's a kids ride. Maybe kids will have fun. And this general area around it, it's cool too. Which one should we get?
Maybe the
Peach?
Peach, yeah.
Okay, let's try. And then I just need to...
How do you drink it without a straw? Wait a second.
It's a good area, as in like theming, and like you can sit here, have like lunch or just some food. How is it? It's tea. It's peach tea.
It's peach tea.
But without a straw, you don't feel the bubble until the end.
We can't taste it till the end, yeah.
Anyway, after the labyrinth, there's another ride, which is a big dark ride themed to Jumanji. I'll tell you the whole story at the end. Now, first I want to show you a few other things. This is the monorail that goes around this area of the park, which is the last area right before Lake Garda, which is right there. And we have a Hawaiian area, Aloha Beach, with just a restaurant basically, or a bar where you can buy fruit, drinks, simple stuff. A little Hawaii area, which is right behind Jumanji. And then if we keep going this way, we get to Colorado Boat, which is basically a log flume. Again, a classic model. You find these also in Europa Park and a few other parks around Europe. A classic, but well themed. Right after, we have Wolf Legend, which is the new ride for this year. As you can see, it still has smoke coming out of the ride. It usually stops working soon in Gardaland, but this is still working. And it's that drop tower that you see right behind there. And here it is, Wolf Legend, and Shaman right on the right. This is just a drop tower, drop and spinning tower. It's basically the same ride as in Chessington, Croc Drop. Overall the same concept. Simple, good for families, not too intense. Pretty cool. If you come and there's the nighttime, do it at night if you can. It will be worth it. And trust me, it's not too intense, so everyone can do it. And on the right here, we have Shaman. This is again a classic Vekoma. They just refurbished it, as you can see, is the new Vekoma track. Plus, they also added this year magnetic brakes for the ending so that it has a smoother stop towards the end. It's a really nice ride, and it's Native American themed. And as you can see, all the colors of all the different roller coasters in Gardaland are pretty much like blue, white, green. They tend to blend in with the environment and like the greenery or the sky. That's because Gardaland, being on Lake Garda, has very strict regulation that won't allow them to build too high or anything like too bright, different like weird flashy colors, because they don't want to ruin the scenery of Lake Garda. And so, because of that, everything looks very natural, and there's no like crazy weird colors, which I personally really like because it makes everything and well integrated with the different theming area, which is amazing. Not as flashy as American theme parks, but more like Disney theme parks. Well integrated.
Yes, yeah, I'd say so actually. And there's actually so many rides. This park is pretty big.
Yeah, it's 50 years of park, so they had time.
Yeah.
But we have here the station of the monorail that I was telling you about before. It's a beautiful area, and this is a hamburger place. It's a classic restaurant. They made a sushi restaurant for like 1 year, but it didn't really work. Yeah.
Why is it Asian themed, but it says hamburger? Yeah. What?
They tried to make sushi, but it wasn't working. No one was coming. No one was buying it.
No one understands.
It was pretty great quality, and they have like really strict, careful measurements to make sure that everything is really fresh, really local, really... Anyway, it's the station of the monorail. It's a simple monorail, kind of like the Europa Park monorail, if you've ever been there. And here we have the Kung Fu Panda Academy area, which is a great area of the park for many different reasons. And it used to be like just a really not a themed area before, and then it became this Kung Fu Panda Academy with this spinning coaster. It's really cool. It has a long wait time usually because they only have a few trains going. It's not the best as in time management. Then we have a Noodle Surprise, which is a classic teacup ride that many park has. Even Europa Park again has this kind of ride. Europa Park and Gardaland were born the same year, so they grew up together for a long time. Oh, Mr. High Post Dad.
Ho mangiato tutti i ramen.
No, giuro. Non sono stato io. He said that did you eat all my ravanelli? And here we have a little area with like tables and a fully gluten-free restaurant, which is a great addition. They also in general have like vegetarian food and a little bit of everything here in the park, but this is a great one. And they have also like a little bit of a different food. Cantonese rice, soy noodles, chicken with curry, chicken with almonds, and then they have randomly lasagna and cotoletta, just because, we're in Italy. Paul is always here. Yeah, you look exactly like him. Yep. Even the queue line is really, really nice. It's like a training academy, and then you go on the actual mission up there on the coaster itself. That's the base storyline. And here we have Peter Pan, a spinning flat ride with Peter Pan up there and Captain Hook. I mean, why not? This has been here forever, very random, but like, it's part of Gardaland now. And finally, we have Orto Bruco Tour, which is a tour of a garden with like all the food, and we just run around it. We're basically a caterpillar going around and searching for fruit in this garden. And finally, back in Piazza Jumanji because of Jumanji, The Adventure, which is the newest dark ride here in Gardaland. But let me tell you a little bit about the history of this ride. I said this a lot, but it's actually true. It used to be an amazing ride, opened in 1985 as the Valley of King. It was a scale model of the Temple of Abu Simbel in Egypt. They also took some sand from the desert of Egypt to build this to be as accurate as possible. It's a project of the brothers Mazzoli, so not only Claudio, also his brother Valerio, especially him, which worked, and this was his baby. It was a beautiful ride based on the Egypt, and you would be like immersed in this story where you would go inside and go into the tomb of the pharaoh and awake all the mummies and the curse inside. It was stunning. They closed it in 2008. So then in 2009 opened Ramses Reborn, Il Risveglio, which was a shooting dark ride, pretty bad, not really a story, it was horrible. Not pretty bad, more than bad, horrible. Then in 2022 they opened Jumanji The Adventure, which is a dark ride, the first themed dark ride on Jumanji, and it's an exclusive, it's only here. It's a pretty good dark ride for Merlin standards. All around, like all the other Merlin parks, this is probably one of the best, if not the best, of the new ones they made. However, it has some missing stuff, like some walls are just painted with like fake, with grass, like drawings that look pretty unreal. How hard would it have been to put like plastic plants over there to just like fill up the space and make it a little bit more immersive, you know? There's like some screens which are not fully enclosed into rocks. There could be improvements, but it's a pretty good ride, and some stuff, you know, it doesn't always work, all of it. But that to say that it's still a beautiful dark ride, even though it could be better, and it's not at the level of what was here once. I'm a dark ride enthusiast, not really a coaster enthusiast, even though I love roller coasters, but prefer way more like themed stuff. Disney, Universal, and those kind of things more than Six Flags Parks style. But I'm always very honest with my opinion, what I think they should do, they should add, they should change. You know, seeing a lot of theme parks around the world, like I have my own ideas and I like to share them with you guys. Anyway, let's go do Jumanji so I can actually show you. Oh, and now in the old plaza there's the Oktoberfest celebration. So it's very different than usual, but it's a lot of tables and stuff and a huge stage. And this is part of the line of Jumanji, which has a long line. But we have express passes, which you can get online before being at the park. And let's go, ride Jumanji. This is the queue, which is not the best because you can see the roof. But the rest of the queue will be better. This area is not too bad. Even though, again, I don't like that you can see like parts of the queue. It's not really my vibe of thing. But you know, let's focus on the ground. From the Egypt, we go to the archaeology room. Some little Easter eggs here.
Don't touch that game! Gemma potente chiamata l'anima del gigante è stata rubata e un terribile sortilegio ha colpito Jumanji. Doccia per sempre.
Hello! Welcome to Jumanji! Nigel Billingsley, Jumanji Field Guide, at your service.
Why did they turn on the lights? Stupid Gardaland, why? 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 I don't know why they do this. Anyway, this part of the queue is pretty good. And when it works, there's also Odorama. So the attraction stopped, and now we're waiting for them to like unload everyone and then fix it, and then we can maybe do it. You know, it happens in theme parks. It's fine. I wish I was on top and be evacuated. That would have been cool.
15 minutes later.
Oh no, it's not working. No, it's not synced.
Cosa è successo? Hai lost alive. Non c'è tempo. Dov'è la cena? Consiglia! Sta scappando!
Oh no!
Io la giù! Non lasciate che la prenda!
Uh-oh. here you go back to reality. Up, get out of the game. Jumanji is not a bad ride. For sure interesting. Could be better, yes. But overall, it's something that I still enjoy every time, especially when everything works. Sometimes not all the things works, like the hippo is not working and a few other things. It wasn't in sync with other vehicles, plus the technical problems, which that can happen. They said it never happened this season. This is the first time, lucky us. But overall, it's a good ride. I wouldn't tell you to like avoid it, like do it if you come here. What's your opinion?
I give it a 4.5 out of 10. So it's actually it's a good dark ride, and I enjoyed it a lot actually. And it's like a cool story, but just like don't go to Disney before. Like you would enjoy it on like a normal day. I enjoy it.
Don't compare it to Disney.
No, yeah, don't compare it.
But anything. Anything
Yeah,
to
then
Disney.
you're good.
And with this, I think I can close this episode on exploring Gardaland and this beautiful theme park that we have in Italy, my OG theme park. In the next episode, I'll show you another theme park that it's still like 5 minutes from here. It's not related to Gardaland, but it's a more kind of like Universal style theme park based on cinema, but it has really weird and different rides. Gardaland is a beautiful park. Come here to Italy. My tickets are in the description if you want to buy them and like maybe save something. Support what I do here. If you have any question, things you want to understand better of this park, just let me know in the comments and I'll make a video or just answer you. And I'll see you very, very soon in new adventures, always here on Ephraim Adventure.